how do you sell more of what you already have in your business? So I'm currently here in China, and we are at a silk factory. Now, they were just really demonstrating to us how basically this silk has been made. So let me just share with you what they shared with me. So these silkworms, they mate. And interesting thing is when the male mates with the female, the male dies. And then the second thing is the female then very quickly lays about 300 odd eggs. And then they end up being like this. So we get to this, and then they turn into these cocoons. So they turn into this, and all the silk wraps around it. So these cocoons, you've got two. So this one here's a single one. So if you listen to this, that's a single one. And then you have a double one here. There's a double one. You can hear it. So inside this, what they do is they take the small threads out and they turn it into silk. So over here, you've got the single ones here. And I'll get to the point in just a moment, right? And then this one here is the double one, which is the big one you just saw, that they actually use for body armor. It's really hard to stretch this. So why am I showing you this example? Because they have this whole process. When you come into the shop, they give you like a little tour, museum. They show you how everything is made, and now I have more appreciation. I actually did not know. And by the way, this is the silkworm poo. Silkworm poo, which is actually very clean, but it's also very good for you apparently. What they do is they put these in the pillow sometimes, and apparently it helps you sleep better. So it's just interesting that I want to take you through this example in business, because the more that you can demonstrate how your product works, the more you'll be able to sell. So here is Silk Road, and this is CN, and it goes all the way to the Middle East, then all the way to Europe. So it's just amazing to be able to see how this whole process is created. And then what happens, I'll show you the machine that they actually use as well. So what they do, so this is the machine that they have here. And so they were demonstrating, they boil the cocoons and they use this to basically mix it around. And I don't know if you can see there, but there's a little thread, you see, and they thread the thread onto one of these. It goes up to here, and they have 10 cocoons to make basically one thread like this. It's actually quite strong. So after that demonstration, we then got shown into, where's the room? There was a room. So now we got to see the examples of what it actually turns out to be. So here they have all the pillows, and these pillows are quite comfortable as well. Like, it's quite comfortable. So I did a live demonstration. They did a live demonstration of how they would take and they would stretch it. So let me show you. So they would stretch this over this, and they would cut it into pieces. And then what happens is they layer it. So they took a little layer and they stretched it. So this is about, I think it's about 6 or 7 layers on this. But if you look at it, it's very light. And what they do is they then turn this into this, right? So with cotton and the silk, it doesn't stick, right? So sometimes when you get a duvet, and that duvet just like starts clumping up like this. Well, it doesn't happen with this. And plus, when it's silk, there's no dust mites, there's no there's no allergies or anything like that. It's really good. And also for summer, you've got, it's breathable, it absorbs moisture and things like that as well. So the point of this is we ended up spending some money here. And it's probably the first time I've, looked at silk. But here's the interesting thing, right? So when you look at business, it's not just about what you buy, because there, we're actually getting the factory prices here. But what's more expensive, when you get the duvet, you also need a cover. So these covers are like, how many times more expensive? Probably 10 times the price, because they're a lot more expensive. But even though you see this quite expensive here, it's actually cheaper than if you was to go into the main stores. Now, the interesting thing is that when a lot of you are doing business, you're probably not looking at the upsell process, you probably look at the education process. This is why one of the biggest ways to market your business is to use something called educational selling. Educational selling is probably one of the best ways to market your products and services. So for example, this shirt here, if I go into there, you'll be able to see that there are lots of, again, let me come into this and show you. So, one second. Come in here a second, right? So you've got all these different dresses and things like that as well. Got all of these. So now, of course, we're trying a lot of the clothes on, right? So they've got this whole store back here. And the whole idea is that once you've created your business, you want to have an upsell, downsell, cross-sell model, but it's got to be demonstrated, right? So the more you demonstrate it to be great, the more people understand the value, the more you can charge. So I just want to give you this powerful lesson because I actually didn't know how silk was made, and I know people are like, John, you don't know that silk comes from silk? No, I actually didn't. And it was until I understood, it's like, how can you pay so much money for a duvet when I can go down the road and get one for like in the UK for a fraction of the price? Or even the good ones, like, with the feather ones, those have a massive premium, but you look at the same price when you're paying. Of course, we're halfway around the world right now. So I want you to see that when you are creating something and you can show the value of it, not only showing it, but you can also demonstrate the value, you can charge a lot more money, and it's much easier to sell. Like literally, as I was going through, I'm like, okay, I'm buying one of these. It makes so much more sense. Because also my wife has a bit of allergies as well. So, the moment she heard, oh my God, like it doesn't hold dust and, don't get any allergic reactions, that was a big seller for us. But here's the kicker. So we came here with about, my own family, probably about 8 suitcases, all right? And we said, there's no way we're going to be able to fit this into our suitcase. Here's the great thing about this. They already had that pre-planned. So they can basically turn this into this. So they can, I don't know about what they do with it, but they basically make it very small. But if you look at the size difference, right? So now I can fit a lot of these into the suitcase. So here's the thing. You get educated on the process, they create a demand, they create desire, they show you also it's light, because summer's coming up, and it's like, look at this, look how light it is. It feels very light, right? And all of the time I'm thinking about, wow, this is such an incredible process. So if you operate your business without having to think about selling, but you let the product kind of sell itself, but what you're really doing is you're educating. You're educating without having to sell. You're educating without having to think about the entire process of how you sell that product. It just naturally sells. And I mean, probably helps that I'm a automatic convincer, meaning there are different types of buying models. You have automatic convincer. If they see it, they like it, they buy it. You have the people that need to be convinced. So you need to show them a number of times and demonstrate it. You also have the outsider who needs to go to the outsider to say, hey, what do you think of this? And you get the opinion. So that's why for me, I just think it's so incredible that I've just been through this process. I wanted to share this with you because although I was getting sold into it, I thought it was a very powerful lesson of how I was getting sold into it. And actually, if you look at how things are doing and working in today's world, it's all about creating products and services that people, number one, they want. Number two, they understand the value. I think that's one of the biggest things. Like a lot of you watch me right now, you have great products and services to sell, but probably you don't have enough people knowing how good it is, right? There's that saying that says best known beats the best. And so if you're able to demonstrate how good it is to somebody, either by a result, either by just showing the action, even like, I don't even really wear stuff like this. So you look at any one of my videos, I've never really worn anything like this before, right? But when I put it on, it's like, it feels so light. And because I'm in so many hot countries all the time, I'm traveling to Bali. If any of you should join us out in Bali in December, by the way, we always run a retreat out there. Or when I go to like Hong Kong, so after this, we've done this whole tour just kind of going around China. You've probably seen some of the footage on some of the channel. But I just think that if you want to make more money, if you want to sell more of your product and services, don't sell it, instead demonstrate it. Got any questions, leave a question below, like, comment, and share, because it'll really help the channel. Make sure you check out this channel here and check out this video here as well.